All right, all right. So thank you everyone for coming today. A little lighter crowd today. That's because Skip's not here. So maybe people join later, or everybody's checking out the new features. We had a feature release this morning. So this is version 1.0. We wanted to get to everyone, and we all need to remember that here at Humanize IT, we are a rapid deployment shop, RDS. So if you don't know what that means, what it means is that rather than following the waterfall model, where we release every 3 to 6 months, we release as a feature gets QA'd and then thrown into deployment. So it happens very quickly, like weekly. Drop my gain a little bit. How's that? I should have reduced it a little bit. Zoom has the original sound off, so it should be compressing me a bit. So what I have is I want to show a little bit about what the software is doing now, where we are going with it, and what I'm going to show you is how you take what you've learned so far with architecture audits and move that into how do you sell faster. So if you ever check out the NAN, always read the NAN where it says community updates. That way you know whether or not to attend. So you have like this week is integrate architecture recommendations. And that way Skip and I know what to talk about, what knows, keeps us on the straight path. You can always look at the events and see what's coming up in future weeks. But this week is really busy. This week is us. We just launched that new dashboard. We launched the new home screen. And there are some limitations to it right now. And we want to get people's feedback. We also are going to be releasing version 1.1 later on this month, which is going to have some nice little tweaks in it. But because we are rapid deployment, we wanted to get the 1.0 out. We didn't want to wait for every feature to get developed. If that was the case, you would have to wait until about April to finish our roadmap. But because we're rapid deployment, you get it today. Yeah, it's Windows actually is overpowering my mic. So my actual board, when I go into Audacity, sounds fantastic. But depending on the application I'm in, Windows has been amplifying the mic more or less. So, and then the new Roadcasters are multi-channel on their default, and there's a chat channel that makes them a little bit cleaner. But anyways, so on to my monologue today. We've got now people are joining. It was just a slow join today. We want to show you how to use the dashboard and new home screens to win over clients. And I've got a video on YouTube I posted, and I should probably just send out in an email to everyone. And the goal is to show everybody that you can now have dynamic conversations on the fly. And based upon what you want to do, we are big fans of, I don't want to railroad how you run your business. I want you guys to run your MSP the way you want to run it, and then have a tool that augments that. So a lot of people will go out there and they'll try to say, if you follow our 300-step process, you will be successful in 3 years. No, our thing is you're already good at your job. You know how to fix things. You know how to work with your clients. We're just going to help you look better. So what we have here, oops, I should probably share my screen. There we go. So this week with integrating your architecture recommendations, it's more than just going in and telling somebody that you can do a good job. Anybody can go in and say, oh, look, you have servers and switches and firewalls. I will take care of them better than the last person. You start sounding like a mechanic then. Then it's a low bid game and no one cares. What you want to be able to do is you want to be able to come in and show what is it that you actually care about? What do you actually deliver that no one else can? Why should this school or this doctor's office pick you over their incumbent MSP, or if they're out for RFP, or why should they pick you over the other two? And what we want to show them is a story. Everybody loves a story, and you got to make them the hero. And so when you go in, you audit their infrastructure, that is just fuel for the story. But the story shouldn't be about the infrastructure. The story should be about the client, if that makes any sense at all. So when you have the client sitting there, these tools are just like the engine in your car. Your car gets you from point A to point B, unless you're a gearhead, then you've got a fancy car. What you want to do is you want to show them, how is this infrastructure taking them on a journey? How is it helping them build things? So now you've got everything that you care about. You've got the parts of the engine. You're sitting in front of them, and in your head, as an engineer, you're thinking, I have a story. I have a story I can now tell people. And so we want to use this new home screen and this new dashboard to tell the story of IT and the business. And so when you look at this, what you're going to see is this nice little dashboard here for Lardo Cigar Emporium, for instance. And I've been using him lately just because it's our favorite little example. You can come in here and you can actually, for the Cigar Emporium, you can actually modify this to tell the story. What do you want to tell them about? Do you want to talk to them about hardware, software? Do you want to like switch the name? You can now switch the name of the pillars. I think, I don't know if it was Richard or Michael, whoever was asking me about that. You can call it unicorns if you want, but you can rename it to whatever you want. And if you didn't audit risk, you can take that out. Go ahead and just get rid of that widget. Done. It's gone. You could rearrange your dashboard and you can make it look, oh gosh, yay, dev environments. You have no idea how many times I've seen this over the past 2 weeks. So let me cycle through here. Strobe lights. I have about 60 tabs open right now, so who knows what my cookies are doing on the back end. So don't make fun of me. So what I have here is, let me go back out to my clients. You know, I should just go out to Demo Essentials because they're my favorite anyways. I've been populating and recreating some really cool demos. So, all right. So I'm going to go over to my favorite client here. I'm going to go to Joe's Trucks. And I want Joe to tell Joe the story about how we're going to take their shipping company and we're going to take them into the next realm. So Joe's Trucks has like 30 sites across the United States. And we want to show them how we're going to manage their warehousing. And we're going to help them achieve a new level. So I've audited them in 4 areas. But if you guys, as I said earlier, haven't done the risk audit or the strategy audit, go ahead and just take that out. So delete this one, click save, and it's now gone. So now I just have the 3 pillars that I've audited. Looks very clean. For those of you who it takes a little while to get through the pillars, and you can actually name risk. You don't have to use risk anymore. You can name that like, hey, this is my VoIP audit now. You can name it whatever you want. At the end of this month, you'll be able to choose any report you want to tie to here. But the goal is that you're coming down and you're going to show them like, here's the budget I have for you. Here's my project roadmap I have for you, and go on down and tell the story. If you don't want to show them the project roadmap, then don't put the widget up there. So I'm going to go ahead and put my pillar, my strategy pillar back up. Oh, it's going to be down at the bottom. And so I can drag and drop this all the way to the top here. And now I've got my pillar. So what's nice here is like, as I have audited the infrastructure, you can see here that I have the asset lists. I have which assets need to be purchased when. I've got a roadmap for delivery and everything I want to do. And the client can see this transparently. And now that you have this client dashboard, you can actually share this to your client. I'm going to create a public URL here. Go ahead and copy this. And I can actually put this into the chat over here. If I learn how to click. Oh, come on, Zoom. You are so annoying. Zoom, has anybody else had a delay in their Zoom? Like they click on something and then it takes like 10 seconds for the chat window to pop up. Like right now I click and it just says everyone, and I wait and I wait. And now I can click. And I wait and I wait. And then eventually it'll paste in here. And like, this has been my life for like the past 2 months. I thought it was a hardware issue and I thought I figured it out, but I was wrong. So anyways, I posted that in there. So now you have a read-only copy of everything you're doing. Oh, for the love. It only sent to the hosts. Having it, this is a release day. Everything's got to go wrong. What I have here is I am showing you guys the read-only version of this particular report I have here. You can send this to your clients and show them what they're trying to do, what you're trying to do. They can bring this into their board and they can show their board that this is what they want to do. This is where you're going. This is the journey you're taking them on. This is how you're going to help their business be successful. Your key stakeholder at your client after the infrastructure audit, that's all you have to do is the infrastructure audit. After the infrastructure audit, we'll see a project roadmap. We'll see a client budget report, a graph that shows them everything they're doing, and we'll show them their asset inventory lists and anything else you want to add into this dashboard. You guys have access to this tool right now. If you click on your client right now, you'll be taken to this dashboard. There should be a default one created that looks almost exactly like this, and you can move it around. Make it look as pretty as you want. So no, I hit enter like 5 seconds ago. So you guys see it in chat right now. Go ahead and click on that link. Everybody can access that. But the goal here is after an infrastructure audit in this first quarter, you're immediately showing value. And what you can do here is for pre-sales, for those of you just like walking in and trying to win over a client, just do the architecture audit. Just give them a baseline, a free baseline with a free budget and a free roadmap. It'll take you an hour of your day because you have to go on site and you have to get kind of the inventory from them. Once that's done, you can show them all this stuff and that's it. Or have them send you their CSV of their asset inventory. Import it into our tool and you will have this list. You will have this budget on the right-hand side and you say, hey, if you just send me your asset list, good luck. I mean, maybe you can talk people into that, maybe you can't. But you can show them the difference with your MSP. And that's the power of an architecture / infrastructure audit is you can start telling that story. But you can't tell the whole story until you can say, hey, look, here are the assets you have. Now, here are the services we're going to provide to you on top of the assets. So since you have Macs in your shop, we want to also show you that we support Macs internally. Or maybe you are big fans of Chromebooks. You're going to show them how you can support Chromebooks in your shop. And you can put that as a service and then what risks come with that, as well as how you're going to meet quarterly with them or annually to make sure that everything stays up to date. You're going to show them this project roadmap and how things are going. It's your story that you're telling for them. This is what differentiates you now. So when you sell your projects as a competitive advantage, you're doing it through the story. Instead of just showing them that they have, they're scoring 64%, show them that, hey, you guys are actually doing really well. You're on a plus, you're 9% over the average. Let's go ahead and move that forward. And then they can see while they're looking at that, they can see the budget down here to the right. This is all in a single pane of glass. This is one pane of glass for all account management. This will have a whole thing for it. So you, instead of walking in with a slide deck, can walk in with a QBR in a single pane of glass. That's what this is. You've just saved 6 hours of your life building QBRs. And this all came from the architecture audit. Everything else here is gravy. You can always add in more services, more risks, more strategy. But at the end of the day, you have a QBR in a single pane of glass. Now, if I know my members in this community at all, in the past, when filling out like one of our reports, that was comprehensive report, that alone would take you 6 hours to fill out. Now, all you have to do is fill out a quick little 15-minute survey in each one of these areas, and you now have a complete story to tell your clients. And then when they want to know more, just share them the link, and they can look like heroes when they walk into their CFO and say, I need, a budget of $200,000 next year. And the CFO goes, why? Well, and then they have this pane of glass. They can now tell the story. No more three-ring binder, flipping through, trying to figure out where things are. It is very clear. Or they can just go right over to the proposal that you made for them, and you can share that link too. So they have 2 links. This dashboard gets you this proposal. And that's how you build trust, through transparency. No more are you trying to confuse your clients with trying to teach them what firewalls are, teaching them what Azure is, teaching them the difference between a Lenovo and whatever brand Dell laptop. They don't care. What they care about is what's the journey. How am I competing against other people in my field? How am I looking comparatively to last year? What's my budget looking for the next 6 months? And what am I getting for my budget? All that you can see on this map right now. And so that's how you build trust. And so with the actual budget here, the last thing I wanted to show you guys today was, if you aren't doing the asset upload here, you should. You should be importing your asset inventory here. So if you're a ConnectWise user, just all you have to do is click this little button here, and it brings in the inventory. If you're not ConnectWise, if you're using ScalePad or you're using another tool, some kind of lifecycle management tool, go ahead and export to a CSV and just import using this button. Now, we are talking about more integrations, and we'll integrate as fast as the other companies bring us on. So we have a very robust API in the background now that we've spent time building, and it now all goes into this React framework. But right now, you can import any CSV, and you can bring it in, and it will give you that budget report. No more trying to figure out a budget. All you have to do is import your CSV, go over to your client asset types, and fill in your best practices. So when you import a CSV or when you sync with ConnectWise, it's going to build this asset type list based upon whatever your configuration types were. So if you call your servers servers rather than server, you're going to see 2 lines. So look up here, you see server and servers. What's the difference? You're going to have virtual machine and virtual machines. You're going to want to clean up some of that stuff. But for now, just go down this list and enter in the value for what the general replacement cost is. You only have to do this once. After you upload the CSV, it'll build this list. Now you just got to do the next step. How often do you want to cycle this? We call it depreciation. And we do that on purpose because it'll key in the CFO. When you say depreciation rather than the asset lifecycle, he's going to tune in a little bit more. She's going to tune in a little bit more. And they're going to say, wait a minute, depreciation? Oh, so this asset is going to be done in 4 years. I can put that into my taxes, and I can put that into my schedule so that we're prepared to buy from you in 4 years. That's where this comes in. It's all about a clear narrative. But anyways, this takes, you guys all know your prices. You know how much a mobile phone replacement is going to be. You know how much a switch replacement is going to be. It's going to be more or less depending on what the quarter's deals are. And so once you've got that put in place, when you import that CSV or you click that sync button on ConnectWise, instantly you have your budget is going to come in place. Instantly, this populates with, hey, which asset is expiring this month, and how much is it going to cost? And what we're going to have is, we had a request recently. We're going to show projects on here next. So you can take out all the assets and just bring in projects. So for those of you who are managed and want to just pitch projects like PC replacement projects, mobile replacement projects, you'll be able to do that here in about 2 weeks. But you now have a budget. Well, when you go to your home screen, that budget's already going to populate there. All you had to do to get to this view here was fill out your architecture assessment and import your assets. That's it. Depending on how well you know your client, this is done in like half an hour. No more 2 days to build up a budget proposal, contract management. It is now, if you know your client, bring in the assets, answer the questions on the report, and this builds out automatically. That's the beauty of this. This is what we've been working for. So those of you guys saw the original overview release back in 2021. I believe it was October of 2021 when we released this first. I think Mike Giovanni might have seen it, been one of the first people to see it. This particular view is what was leading up to this. We had to standardize so much stuff. We had to actually clean up. And you guys ever cleaned up a SaaS platform before? I thought picking up after my teenagers was bad. And I used to code a bit. this was horrible. For CSV import, do you have a template or schema of what will get imported to simplify? Yes. If you go over to assets, if you're going to do a CSV import, I will also buy a bottle of whiskey for somebody who can give me a really good, comprehensive example asset list. But if you come over here, what format do you want? We have three examples right here. You can download any of these, and it will give you like the headers of the CSV. Put it in Excel or Google Docs, whatever your favorite tool is, and you can copy paste. I know how it is. I tend to use Excel for asset management. I don't know why I picked up this bad habit. I've used a number of different ticketing tools, but I almost always export to Excel just because I feel like it's easier. And I've used some really expensive PSAs, people. Everything from Atlassian to ChangeGear to ConnectWise. I still use Excel. I am ashamed to admit, but if you see Adam Walter working on a asset budget, I will export it to Excel. Except for now, I tend to use my own tool because I built this the way I wanted to do things. And once it's in here, you can do all sorts of fun things. Like you can filter just LTs or your asset type, whatever you want to do. And you don't have to be clean. You don't have to be perfect. That's the beauty of this. Adam Walter is not perfect. I'm not going to make you clean all your data. You got to be reasonable. I mean, you should spell correctly because otherwise it looks weird in your document. But the budget itself will build itself. Whatever you give it, it's going to look. It primarily cares about asset type and the date. That's what it really cares about the most. And it's going to build this little report for you. So when you see those dotted lines, those are your projects, and soon those will be broken out. When you see the average, that's the monthly cost on average. It's gonna look a little wonky here, but you can come in and you can break this stuff out. Oh, they already did it. Am I in the test environment? No, I'm not. They pushed it live. Oh, good job, devs. Okay, surprise. The feature I've been working on that I thought was coming out in 2 weeks is already live. So somebody want to QA this for me? Richard, maybe? QA this. Let me know if it works. But you can come in and you can say, just show me all approved projects or recommended projects so that you can export them to the correct status. There you go. Beautiful. So anyways, answering Mike's question, yes, you can just import from any CSV, as long as it's clean and standardized so that the columns are adding up. If you want an example one, just go in there to the assets and grab one of the example with all the headers on it, and you can copy and paste into that. Again, this is meant to be simple. This is meant to help you be lazy. You should, for smaller shops, you guys should be out there you should be out there fixing things and managing projects. You shouldn't be out there spending 8 hours putting together a QBR to wow your clients. We did that for you. We are the unicorn that allows you to shine. We are a solution that you go in there, you fill out the report, the architecture report, you put a CSV in of all the assets, and you're done. That's it. Nothing fancy. You now have something fancy to show them. As a bonus, what is cool is when you come up to this home screen here, you now have a global home screen. So what this means is that budget, that table down below, that home screen you just saw for each individual client, they're aggregated for a top level report of all your clients. So you can see, do you have any touch points coming up? Do you have, I called it unicorn budgets, but what is your overall cash on the table? What does that look like? How many projects do you have recommended to clients that are not planned or approved? So you can see a story here. I've got $900,000 of projects in here because I have been using this as a test account forever, but only $6,000 planned right now. That's messed up. I probably should look into why am I not planning out all my approved projects? Well, it's February, it's so early in the year. We can't plan them out till we're into the active quarter or whatever your process is. But this should allow you to grab a cup of coffee and sit here and go, what do I need to do with my business? And every morning, a 15-minute view of what's going on, whose touch points we need to come up. Looks like I missed a touch point with the Astros the other day. We should probably get on that. And so we want to come in and we want to fix this so that we can actually tell a narrative overall. And as one of the cooler things about this is, because this is the global filter, you build this dashboard however you want it, and then you can filter it. You say, I just want to look at my big clients. Can you just show me what's going on with my big clients? And it's going to revamp everything and filter all your widgets. So you just look at projects from your Class A's. Just look at projects dedicated to your Class A's. Look at your budgets for your Class A's. And you can do that. Or maybe you've got a large team. Maybe you're on a elite plan and you want to know how the account manager is doing. Come in here, grab the account manager for those clients. So Skip, how's Skip doing right now? He didn't show up, but he has no projects, no clients assigned to him. I should probably work with Skip and figure out why he doesn't have any clients assigned to him. These are the narratives you care about. This is how you want to figure things out. Or you can compare multiple clients. Like, hey, I just want to see these 3 clients. You can check these 3 and it'll filter all the results down to these clients. So you can see how are they doing. It's on you. Create the narrative that makes sense to you, but make sure it's actionable. Make sure it's something that you can sit down and say, oh, this is where I need to go with this. This is what this is for. And so the whole goal is, again, Adam Walter, it's what I call, anybody familiar with the idea of donut sysadmins? So you should be able to eat a donut with one hand and you should be able to move your mouse with the other one and be able to do all your sysadmin work. I have built these dashboards with a donut in mind or a cup of coffee in mind. You should be able to get actionable items very quickly out of these 2 dashboards. You got a problem client, go down to the client dashboard. Want to see what your MSP is doing? Look at the top level dashboard. What's coming up? When do you need to do it? Do you need to break out? Go ahead and just click and go to that particular area and let's talk about it. Let's add notes in here. Let's update this. This is meant to make your life easier. So that's all I have to say about architecture recommendations. You integrate architecture recommendations to tell a story. Where are you taking the client? Assets are tied to projects. Architecture and infrastructure are tied to projects. Keeping track of tablets, how's that going to help them? But putting them on this dashboard, these new home screens, is how we have made it easier for you to tell the story. So that when you're in the room with your client, whether it's a QBR or you guys just hanging around getting a beer, you can show them like, hey, here's where we are. This is where I'm going to take you. It's going to cost you this much. You're done. That's it. So if you have any questions about this, reach out to Skip or I. Come to one of the Tuesday or Thursday meetings. You can get those on the events calendar. You can go and you can head into one. You can ask any questions on this stuff and Skip will be happy to answer them. They're a free form every Tuesday and Thursday. They're there for you. If you guys see any bugs here or any like widgets you want to apply, largely the releases going forward, probably for the next year and a half or so, are going to be adding widgets to this dashboard. Things that you guys request. One of the things I've been working hard on that's more complicated than it sounds is a ticketing tool. So inside, we're not going to become a ticketing tool, but having a way to do these widgets where you can filter them and stuff based upon a client. So if you're integrated with Autotask or ConnectWise, you should be able to pull up tickets based upon criteria like the next tickets due, tickets that are overdue, trends and different things based upon this client. Or you should be able to go to your top level and see which tickets overall are coming up and matter so that you guys can build your own little queries to query your PSA and get information so you can take actions on it. Never fall behind again. Let us do the work for you. Give us ideas on widgets that'll help you make better actions in your MSP. That's what we're after right now. So keep feeding it. You can respond to the NAN. You can reach out to Skip or I directly. You can reach out to Sebastian. If you know any of the devs, you can reach out to them, but it'll probably be slower. Try to reach to Skip or I. We're kind of we'll prioritize it on our Trello board and we're going to do some really cool things this next year, but you can see where this is going. A true account management dashboard, a true VCIO dashboard. But when it comes down to it, just a way to look at your clients as human beings, to humanize all that intelligence you have and put it in a way that's understandable for your clients. That's all we're trying to do. All right, that thus ends my monologue. Thank you everyone for coming. Sorry for all the technical difficulties today. I hope that you guys get a lot of enjoyment out of this dashboard. Play around with it, give me feedback, and we will see you next week. Thank you.